So this is a little battle report from my club night at East Warrington Gaming against Harry and his Dark Angels. I'm playing the Leagues of Votann on the table for the first time. I'm playing the Brandfast Oathband attachment, which is infantry gets sustained 1 within 6 inches of a vehicle when shooting, and Harry is obviously playing Wrath of the Rock, which is the -1 to wound infantry and mounted, and everything that is in a vehicle, I think, if your strength is higher than your toughness. I think that's the whole detachment rule. Anyways, that's the two detachments we're playing. Obviously, for those that aren't aware, Leagues of Votann have a weird, long army rule about collecting yield points. I'm assuming if you're watching Votann, you already know what that does. But basically, for the first half of the game, I'm stuck in reroll advance and charge rolls and +1 to hit if the enemy's on an objective. And then once I go over the threshold, I am +1 to hit if I'm on an objective I own. And I am then get Harry's army rule of -1 to wound if your strength is higher than my toughness. So those are the two detachments me and Harry are playing. Harry's obviously Imperium, so he gets he doesn't get he gets Oath of Moment. Yes, that's his army rule. He gets Oath of Moment and Wrath of the Rock detachment. The lists are as follows. I've got a Brock here with the Trivarg Cyber Implantment Enhancement that gives him sustain 2 for 2 YP, or when I get out of a vehicle, I get sustain 2. He's leading a unit of 6 Thunderkin, and he's in the land fort on the table in the middle. I've got a Carl with the Precursive Judgment Enhancement that gives me Overwatch on 5s for free if I'm within 6 of a vehicle. He's leading 5 Hearthguard in Deep Strike. I've got a Grimnir stood on my home. I chose him over the Memnir just because the 4-up Invan and the 2 extra ecogs for saves, just in case anything gets by me. I've got Uthar in a Sagittar on the middle of the board. I've got an Arcanist Evaluator on a Sagittar on the left-hand side of the board, and I've got 3 Thunderkin with conversions and 3 Thunderkin with grabs inside the land fort in strat reserves. I've got 10 Jaegers, 5 in a carrier in the middle, and 5 are infiltrating on the right-hand side objective. I've got a squad of Earthshakers with Tremors, a squad of Earthshakers with Breachers, and then 3 Pioneers. Harry's list is the Lion. Oh, how we love the Lion. Azrael leading 10 Sterncard, a Judicere with the Ancient Weapons Enhancement, leading 6 in a circle. Companions, they have fights first now. The beloved Combi Lieutenant, what fun that unit is. 5 Deathwing Knights, 5 Deathwing Knights, 5 Intercessors on his home, 3 Eradicators, 5 Scouts on the left-hand objective, an Invader ATV, 3 Outriders, and a Land Speed of Vengeance. So as you can see, deployments are as shown on the screen. I've scouted up my carrier 9 inches from the deployment. Harry's put his Combi Lieutenant infiltrating on the middle objective. I've infiltrated on the right-hand side, and he's infiltrated some scouts on the left-hand side. I get first turn, so here we go. So my movement turn 1, I move the carrier into the center of the board, staying outside of 9 inches from the Combi Lieutenant, so we can't reactive move. I drive the Sagittar forward 12 inches onto the objective, and I disembark the Arcanist Evaluator. The land fort moves a couple of inches forward again, staying outside of 9, so that I don't get the reactive move from the Combi Lieutenant. I draw a tempting target and overwhelming force. Harry tempts me with the center target. So yeah, I move the carrier there. Then I spend a CP at the end of my movement phase to disembark 6 inches from the Capricus carrier. That gets me 2 Jaeger onto the objective and scores me attempted target. I then proceed to shoot the scouts on the left-hand objective with the Arcanist Evaluator and all of my indirect Earth Shakers. That luckily gets the job done by the wound, scores me overwhelming, and then I terraform all 3 objectives with all 3 units on said objectives. No charging, no fighting, no nothing, so very unlike me as a World Eaters player. So we move on to Harry's turn. That'll be the end of my turn there. 3 objectives terraformed, scouts are gone, scores me overwhelming, intended target. Harry's movement then, he draws Bring It Down and Extend Battle Lines. As you can see, he moves the ATV and the Storm Speeder forward. They get line of sight onto the EA gears in the middle. He moves the Deathwing Knights forward. I didn't actually know they were there when I deployed, but makes no odds. And he moves the bikes around the corner. And then just everything has moved forward, as you can see. He moves up to shoot. He terraforms the mid-objective with the Combi Lieutenant, and then he shoots the Jaegers with the Capricus, with the Invader ATV and the Landspeeder Vengeance. The bikes proceed to shoot at the Arcanist Evaluator. I think they did 1 wound maybe, but he survives the shooting phase anyway. So then we move on to Harry's charge phase. As you can end of the shooting phase. I should remember what these are. End of the shooting phase. Harry's terraformed mid and killed the Jaegers. So then charge. As you see, he's charged in the Deathwing Knights into the Sagittar and the Arcanist Evaluator. We fight there. The Arcanist Evaluator dies to 1, but the Sagittar lives on 3 wounds, which then stops Harry from scoring Bring It Down. However, he keeps it for the following turn, and we'll see what happens there. So then, over to me, turn 2. I draw Sabotage and No Prisoners, so lucky I like to just kill things. So here we go. So what we do is, we fall back, we fail Battle Shock with the Sagittar, then we fall back with the Sagittar, then we fail Desperate Escape with the Sagittar, and then Harry then scores Bring It Down off that failed Desperate Escape, which was a fun interaction for me anyway. We spend a CP on the land fort so that it can go through walls and it pushes to the left. We move the Capricus carrier forward to get on the center objective. Harry again chooses not to move the Combi Lieutenant, and we hopped Uthar out of the Sagittar so that he could give the free CP strat to the land fort. The Jaegers on the right hand side just sabotage that terrain piece. So the end of the movement looks like this. We also deep struck the Hearthguard with the Carl within 6 inches of the land fort to get the sustained buff. Then we shoot everything we can into the Deathwing Knights. We managed to kill 4 of them. We shoot the Capricus carrier into the Combi Lieutenant. We only do 2 wounds, which is fun. We then move on to charging. The end of the shooting phase looks like that. Oh, completely forgot. We landed the. We brought the Landfort in from reserves, and then hopped out both units of Thunderkin, and proposed to shoot the Invader ATV and the Landspeeder Vengeance and the Intercessors. The Landspeeder Vengeance or the Intercessor or the ATV, one of them blew up and did 1 wound to the intercessors, or 2 wounds. They killed an intercessor. I killed 1 intercessor. And then the Deathwing Knights and the Inner Circle Companions all saved their wounds due to the Lion's abilities for a 4-up Feel No Pain against mortals, which is fun. So, yeah, that's the end of the shooting phase then. 1 Deathwing Knight left alive, combat lieutenants on 2 wounds. We then go to charge. So we charge the Hearthguard into the last Deathwing Knight. We make that on a 9. I can't remember if we re-rolled, but we could re-roll because of we're still in hostile acquisition. And then we charge the Cabrix Carrier into the Combi Lieutenant. We tank shock then with the Cabrix Carrier, 7 dice. We only rolled 1 wound. He took the wound, but again, he's now alive on 1 wound. And then he proceeds to heroically intervene with the fight first Judicature and Inner Circle Companions. So the charge phase looks like that. And then, as you can imagine, the Inner Circle Companions and the Judicature fight first and completely destroy the Cabrix Carrier. It does not blow up, and then the Combi Lieutenant is still alive on 1 wound. How fun is that? Then the Hearthguard proceed to muller that last Deathwing Knight and just consolidate around the objective. That scores me. Sabotage for 3 on the right-hand objective with the Yay Gears, and no prisoners as I killed the Invader ATV, the Landspeeder Vengeance, and the Deathwing Knights. So then we move on to Harry's movement phase. Right, where were we? End of the fight phase. So yeah, the Cabrix Carrier is dead, and the Deathwing Knights are dead. So that's the end of my turn. Looks like that. Over to Harry. Harry drew Storm, Hostile, and Secure. So Harry's movement looks like that. He's moved the Inner Circle Companions across to the Land Fort. He moved the Stern Guard with Azrael forward so they could shoot. Moved the Lion across so that they could charge the Hearthguard, and he's moved the bikes forward as well. I've overwatched the bikes as they've come through. Managed to kill 1 bike. The 3 intercessors have popped out, and the Deathwing Knights have moved around to secure his home. The Eradicate squad has then just pushed up into the center objective, center ruin, and then he goes to shoot. So the Land Fort is the Oath target, which gives the Stern Guard like buffs. I'm not quite sure what buffs. I know so. Everything they rolled, they re-rolled all hits and all wounds, I believe, and then all their 6s were devastating. So he manages to put the Land Fort down to 3 wounds from shooting, and then just because it seemed like a good idea, I spent 2 CP and 2 YP to shoot back with the Land Fort into the intercessors after they shot 1 unit of Thunderkin. In hindsight, keeping the CP to re-roll a save on the Land Fort would have been better, as you will see later on, when it dies, it died to the exact wound. So 1 more save might have kept it alive. However, that's how the end of the fight shooting phase looks. So the Land Fort's now on 3 wounds, and the intercessors have been killed by the other Land Fort on the right-hand side after they killed 1 Thunderkin. Harry then proceeds to charge. So the Lion goes into the Thunder Hearthguard along with the bikes, and the Inner Circle Companions go into the Land Fort. That's how we look there. The Lion fights first, kills the Thunder Hearthguard. Inner Circle Companions fight and kill the Land Fort. Inside the Land Fort is currently the Brock here with 6 Thunderkin. So they obviously hop out after that. Doesn't blow up, they hop out. There's no way they can hop out that's not more than 3 inches away. So Harry's plan, I believe, was to consolidate onto my objective, take that away from me, but I couldn't stay far enough away, so he consolidated into the Thunderkin, which looked like this. So the lions killed all of them, and then this is a big brain play from Harrier. He spent 2 CP after the Landfort was killed to put the oath onto the big brick of Thunderkin. This is so that in my next turn, when I try and fall back with them, he can then overwatch me with the Stern Guard and get all rerolls to hit and all rerolls to wound, which worried me a bit until we actually got to it happening. We'll see where that goes next. So that's the end of turn. That's the end of turn 2. Harry scored Storm and Secure. So yeah, Harry scores Storm, Hostile, and Secure No Man's Land, and then we move on to me for turn 3. Turn 3, I pop the Thunderkin back into the land fort on the right hand side, and we move the land fort down so that I can get eyes across the middle of the table. And we move the Jaegers just up against the wall to block anything coming through the wall to the land fort. We fall back with the Thunderkin. Luckily, I think Harry only picked up maybe 1, 2, if that. Maybe I forgot to delete them on there, but I think he picked up 1, 2 Thunderkin, and then all the little bits the Brock here brings with him, the ECOGs and the Ironkin assistant and all that. So all in all, I spent 10 minutes worrying about it, how I'm going to get around it, if there was anything I could do, and then ended up falling back and it did nothing anyway. So, but yeah, the idea was great. So props to Harry for that. Really had me panicked for a minute there. And I spent Uthar's free CP to give the Thunderkin fall back and shoot. I spent 2 YP to give them sustain 2. And I think at this point, I'd fallen back onto the objective as well, as we were in fortified takeover, which is the +1 to hit while on an objective I control. So we wanted to be on there because we weren't in conversion range, out of conversion range. We weren't away 12 inches away to get the lethal sustained on the 4-ups. Anyway, this is, I think, where the big turning point of the game, as I now proceed to shoot and wipe everything off the table. The Azrael and the 10 Stern Guard are gone. Azrael and the 10 Stern Guard are gone, and then all the Inner Circle Companions and the Judicia are also gone, which is a big hit to Harry's unit count at this point. I drew Storm, Hostile Objective, and Area Denial, both of which I didn't achieve, as I kept the Sagittar near the Earthshakers so that they would still get the sustained from being near a vehicle. We put the bikes down at the back so that they could see the Inner Circle Companions and finish them off. The Landfort also shot through the middle after I'd stripped cover with the Thunderkin so that they all died. Yeah, so that's the turn there. I don't score Area Denial or Assassination, so it's a 0 points there for me on secondary, but we're still ticking away with the Terraform, and the primary is going up and up and up. On to Harry. Harry then moves his Eradicator squad forward to shoot the land fort. He moves his Deathwing forward to charge the land fort, and he moves the Lion up into the corner so I can't overwatch him. He moves the bikes around the side though, and I do decide to overwatch them and manage to pick them up with the Thunderkin. That's his movement there then. Shooting phase, he shoots the land fort with the Eradicator squad. I think he did 9 damage. I failed 2 out of 4 shots, and he did 9 damage. And then he did the mistake of rolling to see what the rest of the damage would have been if I hadn't failed, and it would have been 19 damage altogether, which would have blown the land fort up. So luckily, I saved those 2 out of 4 shots and lived on 7 wounds. From there, he decides to charge. He charges the lion into the Thunderkin unit on the left-hand side, and he charges the Deathwing Knights into the land fort around the edges, but it's too far. He doesn't make it. His missions for this round were Assassination and Cleanse. He didn't try and cleanse anywhere, and obviously Brock here is leading the Thunderkin on the left where the lion is charged, so obviously he does pick up Assassination, as there's nothing I can do to stop the lion absolutely mincing all of the Thunderkin, even with the -1 to wound from Fortified Acquisition. So that's how we end turn 3. Turn 4 over to me. I spend a CP to move the land fort through the wall. I move that forward to the middle because I've still got Area Denial and Cleanse to perform. I move the Sagittar forward as well. I move Uthar forward. I basically move everything towards the mid. Move the A gears out in front as well. I get the Thunderkin out in front of the land fort, but then I spend a CP at the end of my movement phase to get a unit out within 6, and I get them out within 6 of the land fort, but that gets them on the objective. The Combat Lieutenant had failed Battle Shock in Harry's turn, and therefore he currently only had 1 OC on the objective, so my 2 Thunderkin on there out OC'd him, and then that gave me the objective for the shooting phase to give me the +1 to hit. We then proceed to shoot everything. We shoot everything. I think at this point Harry did move the Combat Lieutenant, so he went behind the wall, which stopped me getting large area denial. I only got small. And then I shot the Thunderkin with everything else and some stuff at the Deathwing Knights. I picked up 2 Deathwing Knights. Oh, the bikes also, sorry, the bikes went down on Harry's home objective, and they proceeded to terraform the Harry's home. So I think I left 1 Eradicator alive, but I then charged Uthar into it, which I've not shown on here, but Uthar does end up in the middle of the table because he charged the Thunderkin, the Eradicator squad. And then that scores me Storm Hostile for 4 and Area Denial for 2. On Harry's turn, Harry drew Sabotage and Recover Assets, obviously missions, obviously secondaries, actions. He's only got 3 units left on the board, so he doesn't go for the actions. He just goes to try and kill things. Moves the Deathwing Knights forward. I reactive move my Jaegers back behind the wall so that they're on the objective to score me primary next turn. I overwatch the Deathwing Knights, and I think I pick 1 of them up. He moves the Lion forward onto my home objective, and then no shooting, proceeds to charges the Deathwing Knights into the land fort, and he charges the Lion into my Earthshakers on the backfield. The Lion obviously kills the Earthshakers, and the Deathwing Knights obviously kill the land fort. Doesn't score any primary, and doesn't score any secondary or primary for that matter, and my primary just keeps ticking up with Terraform. I've now got 3 Terraform objectives. On to turn 4. On to turn 5 even. So I draw Cleanse and Display of Might. Harry's only got 1 unit on the in the middle. I've obviously got half the army still there. So Cleanse is so Display of Might is given. I terraform the middle objective. I cleanse the other objectives. I kill the Deathwing Knights and just don't bother. I don't bother with the Lion. I've not put a single shot or attack into the Lion so far. He's not worth the hassle with his 3-up save. So yeah, I end round 5 as is seen now. We terraform mid, cleanse everywhere, and then we end with Harry turn 5. He drew Tempting Target and Overwhelming Force. Obviously, I tempted him with 1 that was in the middle. And he went for Overwhelming just to make do with what he got. He moved the Lion to the middle, charged the Lion onto the middle objective. He got into Uthar and to the 3 Thunderkin. He managed to kill the Thunderkin, no problem. He put 2 attacks at Uthar. Uthar saved one, failed another, and then I used his ability to change a save fail into a 6. So Uthar survived with 0 wounds, 0 damage taken, and it ended with my Warlord and Harry's Warlord holding hands in the middle of the table. He scored overwhelming on that one. He ticked away a few terraforms throughout the game. Obviously, I had terraformed on 2 objectives most of the game. Finished with 4. Final score 91-59. A nice first outing for the Votann. Real different play style to World Eaters. Me and Harry have a little grudge match going on at the club, and we play a lot. I think it's currently 3-2 in Harry's favour. 1-0 to me as a Votann, but overall 3-2 to Harry. Most games have been World Eaters. All games have been World Eaters apart from this one. So nice to have a bit of a change. Enjoyed the Votann. It's a lot more shooting, so we'll see how it turns out in 11th. But for now, we'll strive to continue with the Votann. We are back on the Defiler next week with World Eaters. Got a spicy little list coming there with Lord of Skulls, Defiler, a couple of Hellbrutes, Forge Fiends, Land Raider, all popping through the wall or Go Track. Go Turn's going to be interesting, but that'll be hopefully another video. If you liked how I've done this, please like, follow, and subscribe, and all that stuff. This is my old YouTube channel from when I used to stream video games on the PS4 and 5, maybe the PS5, 4. I'm not sure. Anyway, whenever I used to do Twitch and YouTube on the PlayStation, but now we've moved on to better things. I'd say Warhammer. Big fan these days, so I'm going to try and get some more of these battle reports out. We'd call ourselves a tournament player, I guess. We do go to quite a few GTs now and then. Never do any well, so if you're here for pro tips, I haven't really got any yet. But this is our first outing with the Votann, so maybe we become a pro Votann player in the future because we are god awful at World Eaters. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Any feedback in the comments, that'd be great. Thank you very much.